So the big tax question is this: how do wealthy people keep their money working for them when selling their business, real estate, or other highly appreciated assets without paying hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars in tax? What if we, as business and real estate owners who have poured blood, sweat, and tears to growing our wealth, and who didn't hire expensive tax attorneys and CPAs to map out an exit strategy, knew their secrets? Instead of recreating the wheel, why can't we just model the way they deferred 30 to 50% in tax, paid off debt, funded their next business dream, and most importantly, leave a financial legacy to give to the causes we believe in most? What if their secrets weren't complicated at all, and you just need a guide who is a few steps ahead of you? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brett Swarts, and welcome to Capital Gains Tax Solutions. I'm so excited about our next guest here. In fact, I first heard this guest on Dan Hanford's big multifamily investor nation summit, and he is new maybe to some of you, but he has lots of experience. You know, many investors struggle with finding passive investment multifamily, also senior housing or hotel hospitality opportunities with a syndicator who has a track record of success and has had years and years of experience. Well, our next guest has been investing in real estate for more than 30 years. He's a commercial real estate California broker, and he's an expert in multifamily syndicator. He's also the founder and CEO of Moneil Investment Group, which is a company that provides investment opportunities for qualified investors in the commercial real estate market, especially in multifamily. But he has also recently focused on senior housing and hospitality, which we're going to be covering in this interview here. His passion and belief is really having a positive way of thinking, which changes everything. And he's actually been given the name Mr. Smiles because of this. He has over $172 million in multifamily portfolio, 26 syndications, 40 on average, around a 43% annual investor returns, which is phenomenal. And he manages about 3,100 apartment units. And his achievements are great and all for that, but really it's a dream come true for him, as he was anything but rich growing up, as he arrived in the U.S. more than 40 years ago, having next to nothing in his pockets. In fact, it was $7 in his pockets. And the odds are really stacked against him, but he's lived the American dream and that he has had the opportunity to be successful in this country. And this vision now for success has served him to be an inspiration to others and really help others to grow their dreams and become all that they're made to be. I want you to welcome our next guest, Vinney Chopra. Vinney, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. I'm so thankful, and I hope I can bring great energy and also great knowledge to your audience. I do want to mention that to your audience. I started about 12 to 14 years back into multifamily. So I've been through the cycles and everything. My first unit I bought was 14 units for $180,000, just to let your audience know. My last one, with my partnership with Enzo Multifamily, my very good friends, we bought $52 million deal in Florida last June, and the $35 million in December, back to back. So that was like $87 million, and I control about $330 million right now, thank God. And then also we are getting into senior living. I'm very passionate about. We'll talk about this, and also hospitality.
Excellent. And before we dive into that, just a couple quick questions, and then we'll get into some of those details on some of these deals. But just so you know, our listeners, you can find Vinney at vinneychopra.com. He also has a wonderful book that he recently released called Apartment Syndication Made Easy.
There it is.
I'm reading that book, and there it is. And he's also coming out with another book. It's just going to be released pretty soon. It's Positivity Brings Profitabilities. And anyways, Vinney, before we get into some of the details and some of the deals and such, take us back just a little bit more, right? For our listeners who don't know you, just give us a brief overview of your story, and then we'll move into your current focus.
Totally, Brad. Actually, I'm engineer, mechanical engineer from India. I broke a lot of toys when I was growing up, and I'm from New Delhi, India. I did my, bachelor's back there, and then came here about 42 to 43 years back to George Washington University to do my MBA in marketing. I thought engineering and marketing is going to make Vinney some money, It just so happened I sold books and encyclopedias and Bibles door to door, right outside Atlanta, and then Pulaski, Virginia, and Aiken, South Carolina, 3 summers while going to school. It changed my life. It just made me realize that I'm more connected with the relationship building business rather than sitting behind the desk as an engineer. So that took my whole focus away from engineering, and I got into promotional consultant, salesperson, marketer, motivational speaker, all those things together. I became a broker. We were buying single family homes for 30 some years. I've been married 40 years now. It's the 40th anniversary this year, 2020, April 3rd. So we are taking many trips around the world, which we are very excited about. We have 2 children, Neil and Monica. They were born here I live near San Francisco in Black Hawk, California, which is a country club just outside on the east side of the bay. And our son, Neil, went to Berkeley. He's an IT guy. He's very professional, and then our daughter went to UCLA and she went to do MBA also, like dad, and she's engrossed in our business.
Proud
At
parents.
the peak, we had about 100 full-time team members.
100 full-time team members. So Vinney, you just stay a little bit busy with those businesses and that family and doing these large deals. Take us back a little bit further, though. Who was Vinney growing up? I think we're all given certain gifts, Vinney, certain things that we do really well, certain strengths. Some people call it superpowers. I call them God-given gifts and talents. So I'm curious, before all the success, Vinney, who was Vinney growing up? And in particular, what was that gift that you were given, and how does that gift help how you help others today?
I appreciate that. Brett, I would say I had a very humble beginning. When we grew up, I'm sibling of 6, in the family, 1 brother and 4 sisters. And my parents, we lived in 1-bedroom apartment, I remember, and a living room and a hallway kind of thing and kitchen. And we never had a refrigerator or telephones, or we had any kind of car or anything. We didn't even have a mobile. In the first part, we were only bicycle, and going through, daily transportation and all. But I was a studious boy. I was very studious. I was very curious to ask a lot of questions. If I remember correctly, my teachers loved me. The kind of person I was, with the integrity and the honesty and everything, I really wanted to feel special right from the get-go. And that's what my friends tell me when I went to engineering school. Vinney, you were a very goal-oriented person. You were always planning ahead. Within the circle, you will say, hey, let's do this. So those techniques kind of helped me when I came out here to learn from the greatest books I was introduced to. Well, no, I got, Grant's book later on, but like the greatest salesman in the world. I mean, The Magic of Thinking Big, the Dale Carnegie, How to Influence Self-Confidence, all those, greatest books. Think and Grow Rich. I mean, these are 40 years old copies, by the way, 40 years. I mean, I always write the date I buy, I sign my name on the book. It was on 10th of March, 1978, that this book has been with me. And I've read it a few times, So essentially, it's just my drive to take massive action and positivity and goal setting.
I love it. Yeah. And staying curious and coming from humble beginnings, but also being very studious in what you were in your studies and growing as a youngster, and then connecting that with the social aspect of connecting with people in a positive way. That is a really, I think, a perfect fusion of a way to not only influence people, but be very, very highly successful, which you are doing. So let's shift a little bit. When did you become fascinated and obsessed with helping others grow their wealth and achieve some financial freedom through real estate investing, in particular investment real estate investing? What was that shift, and when did that come about in your journey?
That came actually, we were having a lot of single family homes spread all over USA. And of course, property management companies were managing them. And, at the end of the year, something goes wrong, boy, there goes the cash flow, So my wife said, you know so much about real estate, go get an exam for broker. license. And I learned few more things and I sat first time. I passed it. I'm still active broker, but we never have bought or sold anything for the last 14 years. So I didn't want to open up a shop and I just wanted to get into commercial. That's what really got me going in 2004, 5, 6. And that way we were able to look at different aspects of commercial, from industrial to hotels to strip centers to, multifamily caught my attention. Very big. Logical mind. I said, oh my gosh, if I can have 20 homes, 20 people in one lot and only get, to collect rents quickly and have one property management company rather than 20 property management company, all the scalability and everything, that was my turning point. So that's when I went and spent a lot of money, thousands of dollars, over $100,000 in learning the tricks. I believe, why should I reinvent the wheel when it's already done for you? So that has been my thinking all my life. I pay the top dollars to learn the skills and apply the best apps and the software programs, cutting edge, everything, so that I can grow better and bigger.
I love that. Yeah, investing in yourself and in coaching and systems and modeling success, because it's all out there, right? And there's also something about, that you said, paying $100,000. There's something that when you invest in something and with your heart, not only your time and your energy, but your money that you've earned, there's something about that rises in you. You have to get a return on the investment and you're going to push yourself forward. So walk through that tension of some folks, right, or entrepreneurs or business owners where they're not sure, should I invest? Do I invest? What's my ROI? Walk us through that journey of really just saying, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to invest in whatever it takes. I'm going to throw money and let the outcomes be what they may.
Totally, Brett. I mean, look at where I'm now. I'm looking to buy 200 million just this year. This year. 330 to 200 million addition. That's 530 then, right? And then I've got plans for the next decade, how many senior livings I'll be starting and everything. I'll share that with your audience. It's the tsunami, silver tsunami is already going. 10,000 of the baby boomers are turning 65 every day in USA, and 10 billion people in the world, 2 billion will be in the 65 plus range in the next 10 to 30, 20 years. But the biggest thing is, I would say, kind of going back at it, the big thing is you got to invest money to learn. Otherwise, a lot of, I come across so many people have contacted me, hundreds of thousands of them, because I give my phone numbers out and everything. They text me, call me. Then some I talk, they call me after 2 years. And I say, hey, you called me 2 years back. What have you done? See, that's where it is. They say, Vinney, how do you know? I called that back. I said, I never lose any contact who calls me. So my emails, I have 40,000 emails in my iPhone. So I get the biggest of the biggest so that I can, search quickly. But anyway, the key thing is you got to invest in your learning the tricks. A lot of people look for free information. There's a lot of information out there on the internet, but that can decapacitate you. Different things, you should get a coach or a mentor. There are so many great people in USA and across the world.
Absolutely. And I think there's something about burning the ships, right? And going in on a focus of whatever the next step is in your entrepreneur journey or your business journey or your investment real estate journey. We're all on a journey. And Vinney's going from, let's say, about 200 million to 500 million. That's another journey too. So you're probably going to have to invest in another coach who's already there, who's already at $1 billion number, because you haven't been there yet, right? They went through that process. And so it's about investing in yourself with coaches, being humble like you are, being coachable, so you can go to that, you can kind of level up, if you will. So let's shift a little bit.
That's so interesting. You send the messages out, Brett. I was there in Florida, right? Yes. Orlando. And guess who I met? The 1.3 billion, the number one guy in USA, Mr. Grant Cardone. And what will be the time that he will pass by me and I go home and he takes a selfie with me? He says, Vinney, give me your phone. I'll take a selfie, and he gave it right back. So essentially, you're right. When we send these signals out in the atmosphere that we want something that badly. Law of attraction, it works. It works. It works 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365. Whether you rely on it or you understand it or you accept it, that's your choice. If you don't accept it, you won't go further. But the thing is, you can definitely make a difference in the lives of people around you. That's how you gain success. You got to just always be looking at who the customers are, who the clients are, who the brokers are, and give value to them. That's it.
Absolutely. So dig into that. Let's get to some of the more technical things with the shift. You're shifting from multifamily, still doing multifamily, but now focusing on this massive baby boomer generation that's essentially, Vinney was, to couple on some of the stats he was talking about, according to the American Bankers Association, there's about $17 trillion which will transfer from one generation to the next in the next 20 years. And this is part of the largest wealth transfer in the history of the world. And as a part of that, it's the baby boomers. In fact, there's 10,000 baby boomers every day in the U.S. alone turning 65 and 77 million baby boomers. And as a part of that, they're looking for transitional or highly skilled or memory care or assisted living. This is kind of the senior housing space. They have such a need versus these big houses or operating big businesses. They're looking to retire and they're going to need they have these health needs, especially for housing. So walk us through that, some of those stats and what you're doing to help provide this type of housing for baby boomers and for those who are getting older.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Brett. I would say that, once you send these signals out, I've been thinking about senior living for about a year and 2 months now today. And I'm so happy to say that by sending these signals out and with the context I have, I've come across two of the top operators in USA in these two fields. See, I don't know anything from Adam how to build a building. I did do custom home and all that with a friend of mine who was in construction, but I have no knowledge, no experience. So I sent out messages in the universe. I need to partner with some people who already know the whole tricks. So my partner for assisted living and memory care, Mr. Imran, has done 16 deals already, very successful. 16 of $200 million, and my 330, that's $530 million. 46 different projects. I've done 28 by now. Now he's done 16. That's 44 projects, But the good part is he's able to build it. And where he's come from, he had a medical supply company. Young guy, he's young. He's 37 only. He won't mind me saying that. But the thing is, he was supplying to 3,000 assisted living facilities, and he was crying. I asked him, why was you crying? He says, Vinney, the smell, these slum, a lot of these facilities were not well taken care of. And he says, I will not put my mom in those dwellings. So his whole passion 6 years, 7 years back was, I can build the best of the best assisted living with memory care, one ground, no 2-story, no 3-story, 4-story elevators or anything, one flat land with the corridors, with all the compounds, the water, the spas, and the movie theater, and I'm just thinking about library and beautiful dining halls and a bus to take people. So that's what his passion has been. And now we have partnered together, as a great partners where we are already kicking off. He's just finishing up in Cape Coral. I was there last week, and it's a ribbon cutting ceremony coming up in a month or 2 months. And then we are starting in Punta Gorda, because we do a lot of studies. You have to do a lot of absorption studies and feasibility study for the assisted living, what's out there in the marketplace, what's the buying power, all that. So we are also going there. Punta Gorda, we got the land locked in. We just land locked in Williamsburg, Virginia. And we are doing 17 other locations, feasibility study as I talk to you today, this morning. So we are ready to start 4 to 6 every year. These dwellings, about 90 to 120 units.
Excellent. Now, what's been the biggest transition between the two? Because you're partnering with a specialist here who's in the space, and you're a specialist in your own space. So defining the roles will probably be important. Are you going to be raising more of the funds, Vinney, and the overall vision, and he's going to be doing the operations in the building? Or walk us through that, because there might be some real estate syndicators that are considering a strategic alliance or a partnership or moving past into the next level of a different product type. So walk us through kind of how you guys came to this is a good team. This is a good opportunity here for both of us.
Totally. It's what you just said. Totally. He's got the best of the best experience and teams that he has done this 16 times. And every time, improved and improved and everything. Now, this was the first project in Cape Coral in Florida. So we'll be now duplicating that in Florida. We are getting to Texas. We are going to Virginia. We have kind of lined these 3 states to really get going on this. And he's from Michigan, so he's done many of them over there also. So you're right. He'll be on the construction and management. He's got the whole recipe for that. I have the best recipe with the investors base of so much. I can raise 7 million in 7 hours usually now with my investor base. So that's where we are joining together hands to do it repeatedly, bigger and bigger scale. I'm selling a lot of my multifamily too at the peak now. So I'm returning millions of dollars back. My investors are knocking on my door and they're saying, Vinney, what's the next one? What's the next one? So multifamily and senior living and hospitality, I'll talk about that. We got very high net worth people in the Silicon Valley right here. So for hospitality, my minimum will be 1 million to invest in a company. And this one with the senior living, we have 100,000 minimum and then 200 at 500. So there are 3 different tier. We give higher percentage preferred returns at the 500,000 also. So I've kind of graduated from smaller numbers of 25,000 or 10,000 to 100 to 500 to 1 million now in hospitality.
Excellent. Yeah, you're going to scale up. Now, I couldn't help but notice, and I love this, by the way, you're making this shift from selling high-end multifamily and not overpaying for more multifamily, right? Because by definition, a lot of times, let's be honest, if you're selling high in one particular product type, you may be able to find something in another state or another location, but you may not have the boots on the ground or the management in place or the scalability. And by the way, for context, I grew up in the Bay Area, Vinney, and I know you're right there.
You did? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
oh
Mission
God.
San Jose, Fremont, right? Yeah, Mission San Jose, Fremont.
Oh my gosh, hold on. Sure, I know exactly. Very rich area of Fremont, definitely off of 680.
Yes,
and
yes.
we are just north of there in Danville, Blackhawk. Yeah.
Yes. So this whole area is just so highly.
Where do you live now? Where do you live now?
I'm in Sacramento, Roseville, and I still have a lot of.
Not far, buddy. Yeah, we should meet. Yeah,
yes.
when you're in the Bay Area.
We have to meet. Yes, absolutely. Please. I will love that. So on this point, though, it's tough for syndicators, at least the ones I've worked with and our clients and partners, different locations, different geographical locations and selling, but not only that within the product type. So what you're saying is, hey, I'm selling a multifamily high, and not only are we moving to maybe different geographical locations, but we're moving in a different product type, which has a whole nother level of ROI. Like, for example, I'm a personal investor in senior housing, and some of the rents can be between $5,000 and $10,000 per person. Yeah, per month, per person.
Yes.
Versus even some of the highest rents in, let's say, Northern California, East Bay, San Francisco. I mean, let's say $2,200 to $3,200. I mean, and you're talking prime. Where I would say the average 2-bedroom is more in like a Sacramento region, let's say around $1,500. So you're looking at more than double, sometimes even triple some of the highest rents and the highest areas. And oh, by the way, obviously it's a business, not just multifamily. It's the specialized care. So of course the expenses are higher. But walk us through that ROI, Vinney, of that transition between multifamily collecting rents and RUBS and different pet rent and those type of things to now the skilled nursing and assisted living.
I would love to. Brett, I do want to mention to all the audience that I've got all the engines working. So multifamily still, I'm very bullish on it in the Florida area right now. My partners, Enzo Multifamily, we have the underwriters, we got the researchers, everybody, right? We have a lot of great contacts with the top brokers there. They're giving us, just last week, we got 3 off-market deals. And we are looking at in Tampa, in Orlando, in Melbourne, and Jacksonville. So we'll still be doing that. That's the multifamily part. I'm very excited about this assisted living and memory care with our friend, Mr. Imran. Then I have another partner, yet another one in senior living with 55 plus. And that name is Shanti Niketan. Shanti Niketan is a very well-known brand in the Indian community around the world. So actually the founder of Shanti Niketan, Mr. Iki, we have just kind of done like this. I was there in Orlando last week. We went and saw his whole, the communities he have put together, his undefined knowledge of all building 55 plus, and with the community centers and bringing the best of the best, at a low cost. And we are thinking to duplicate that in Dallas, in Houston, in Austin, in Pittsburgh, all over the USA. So that's what is my next project with Mr. Iggy and Shanti Niketan. So that'll be 55 plus, and then with Mr. Imran will be assisted living and memory care.
Perfect. And walk us through some of those numbers now. So what kind of ROIs or
numbers
on investments? Yeah.
Pretty good. I would say, we are able to build our assisted living and memory care for about 130 to 140,000 a unit. And we can sell for 200,000 a unit, after we ramp it up and get it to 60%, 70%. And we also have a first right of refusal from a REIT who just bought 2 of the beautiful luxury complexes from my partner. So they have a first right of refusal. They like the product so much. So we are very, very fascinated about it. And then the good part is we are both strong, Mr. Imran and I, liquidity and net worth and everything. So we are getting very good loans, construction loans, which can be moved into the full arm, right? And the fixed arm and everything. The good part is because you are in taxation, right? So we have been talking about how the taxation law says if you build it and sell it, you're a flipper. But if you manage it over a period of time, now it's a business, then we can deduct a lot of cost segregation. Studies will bring so much high returns for our investors, over 100%. We did some projections. I am so fired up about that because everything that we put into the senior living, it's all personal property, we could say, right? Or CapEx and other things. So there's some tremendous opportunities, for the 1031 exchanges. So we have 2 buckets. We will even cash out some of the investors in 3 years. And those who want to go with us further, 4 or 5 years, we can take their gains and put into another senior living and another senior living. So they will never have to pay taxes.
Yeah, and that's our favorite thing to hear. If you can defer, eliminate, and most of our clients like to pay the tax the second day to never. So what you're saying is you're going to do some cost segregation. And for the listeners who are not sure what that is, it's basically you're accelerating the depreciation. So you can take straight line depreciation. Most multifamily properties is 27 and a half years, commercials 39. And the government allows a certain percentage per year to offset the income that's coming in. As long as, like Vinney says, you're not a dealer and you're flipping properties. Because that's different. It's classified as short term, and it's not as you're not going to get that depreciation schedule per se. So that being said, you can accelerate that, and by doing that, if you have other gains on other properties, it can wash those away, and or if you have income that's coming in, it can wash that away. These are legal loopholes that the government wants to incentivize people like Vinney and us to go build more projects. And when you build more projects, you actually increase the economic growth growth because there's more jobs, and they're going to pay taxes on those incomes, and therefore it's going to actually be more tax revenue. That's why they do this. So Vinney, you mentioned cost selling as one part of the strategy. The other one you mentioned was 1031. Walk us through those buckets. So some of the properties you're going to sell, and then you're going to 1031 into already existing senior housing, or are you going to 1031 into the project itself to build? Because walk us through how you're going to do that.
Totally. Actually, the ones that I'm selling, Brett, we're going to give the cash K1s and the capital gains and all to the individual investors because it's a lot of hard work. I did it only one take where one of my friend brought 750,000 into one of my syndication deal, but it has to be running separately. We were told it has to be a tick buying a portion of the whole structure. It cannot be convoluted into the syndication part of it. So my syndication investors own certain percentage and my friend owns certain percentage. So we are very adamant about it. It's been a lot of nightmare about that. So I take only 1031 money if it's 2 million or more. So that's my limit. If somebody wants to bring 2 million or more, then only I will consider that. But now we are into our own already investment. So investors after 3 years can be bought out, we call it, right? We can refinance or we can get a permanent loan or we can cash them out if they need their money out. But there will be a big bucket of people, investors who are very high net worth people in my circle. And they have always wanted to defer taxes. So that's what we are opening up. Those particular bucket of people will be able to move forward. If their 100,000 has become 160,000, let's assume, with the gain, then that 160 will go into next senior living. And then from there, after 3 years or 4 years, it'll go to next one and so on. And
Excellent.
They can cash out whenever they want.
Yeah. And so the moral of this story is just get clarity on the different tax deferral strategies, and obviously have your own CPA look at these things, or contact us here at Capital Gains Tax Solutions, and we'll help you clarify it as well. But essentially what Vinney's saying is, in a 1031, he wouldn't mind doing a 1031 as long as it's worth all the brain damage and all the work. And so therefore the scale needs to be 2 million or greater. So for 2 million or greater, you would essentially kind of change the ownership structure a little bit to give that person that ability to do that. But if it's smaller than that, it's not worth all the time and energy. That being said, for those who are smaller, as a whole, they can move to the next one or be bought out. Is that a fair summary, Vinney?
Yeah. Totally so right. If it's like only 500,000, 700 or a million, then I don't really get them in. I have only done one 1031 coming into a syndication, but now my model is out of syndication, like after 3 or 4 years, to help my investors hedge their money.
Excellent.
And of course, with the self-directed QRP and all that, there are a lot of other vehicles, self-directed, where they don't have to pay the gain until they withdraw anyway. Sure. So they don't pay taxes within that until they withdraw, right? So that's another vehicle, right?
You got it. That's the same way the deferred sales trust works. And that's actually where we fit the niche, that we're $500,000 and above, but our average deal is about 2.6 million. But essentially, each individual can go their own separate ways into their own deferred sales trust, and then those funds can be used into the next deal. So for any listeners that are out there, that's really a part of our niche with syndicators. So shifting a little bit here, Vinney. So when did you become so fascinating with helping others? So you went from building your own portfolio, having all the success, and then bringing others in as well, and teaching and educating, and really giving back. Walk us through that transition, because I imagine there's a number of owners and entrepreneurs that have achieved lots of success that are listening to this podcast, but they're wondering, how do I shift and make that transition to I guess, legacy building or helping more people know what I know and do what I do?
I appreciate that very much. About 4 years back or so, I was getting a lot of calls, lots of people reaching out to me. And I was finding, Brett, I have the same answers, but I was just repeating. And I shared that with my friends. They said, Vinney, you need to record. You need to record everything. just get the camera going, get this thing going, audio, and that's what really gave me an edge. I've got 900 different lectures that I have now given, and we built multifamilyacademy.com, the domain name, multifamilysyndicationacademy.com, multifamily school something. So now it's a big university. But I know a lot of great people in our country. They charge $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $80,000 now, even 100. Somebody told me last week. But I like to give knowledge at a very, very low price, because I would rather my investors save the money and invest into their deal rather than paying $50,000, $60,000. So I provide everything I've done for the last 12 years with templates and Excels and PowerPoints and everything that are duplicatable, that's the word, in my academy for only $2,500, 25 or 3,000. And then I coach myself every week, 2 hours, with my group coaching, mastermind, inner circle people. And we record that and sends it out to hundreds of students all across the nation every week. That's on Wednesday at 4:00 p.m., 4 to 6. I do that. If I'm traveling abroad, then I don't do it. But, we do it religiously, and my students bring deals. We do deal analysis. I mean, it's all open forum. They can ask me anything and everything. And I show them through my examples of different deals I've done, my experiences, So it's a great avenue. If anybody wants to learn, they could just text the word learn, 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 to 474747, or even reach out to my VP of the academy now, John Rusin. That's JON, John, at VinneyChopra.com. VinneyChopra.com. Then I'm working on another platform with my 5 other partners, and they are educators, they are movie makers, and then also in capital market and everything. We are putting an interactive teaching platform as we speak, and our goal is to take it out to 500,000 investors around the world. So that's my next passion, to really teach what I know and give it to everybody for such a low price. $990 is my next, project, which should be ready in about probably 5 months. We are working on it feverishly, and it's going to have one of the best setups anywhere in the world, actually. I can't say what these are, but it's going to be fabulous.
I love it, Vinney. That's fantastic. And by the way, all of those links will be in the show notes to the show. So no need to write them down too quickly. We'll have that all in the show notes. And so we're going to shift a little bit here. For those who actually take advantage of the education and get on there, and after coaching, I guess hundreds, maybe thousands of people now, what is the single best way that you found those who are successful to building real estate wealth and or to moving forward with building wealth in general? What have you found to be the best practice to have, Vinney?
Oh, Brett, you hit the nail on the head. The biggest thing I tell all my students and my followers is that you can scale up. You can only scale up if you have investors. Pooling of money, OPM, other people's money, syndication model, a lot of people frown upon it because they think it's going to cost too much, or it's going to be all, they have to do so much more. That's not true. I think it all boils down to understand the model and do the Regulation D, 506 family and friends exemption, or if you want to advertise, the regular 506C. So it's very simple. The big thing is to have the desire to help a lot of people, family members, people we know, people we meet every day. I mean, that's where it all boils down to. If we share with them and educate them for 20 minutes through a very beautiful presentation, a credibility kit, and a beautiful brochure, electronic, and we provide that. It cost me $10,000 to get it made and written and everything. My students get it first day when they join our academy. PowerPoint, we have virtual assistants all around the world. We give them context also so that they could give this PowerPoint and their logo and everything for 50, 60, 100 bucks. They can have it ready next day to talk to the investors. So, and my underwriting, which I have really perfected my underwriting now with different tabs and correlations and all that. So we provide every single thing under the sun that I have developed. We provide everything to them.
That's wonderful, Vinney, and I can't wait to get my hands on that myself. That's great. We're going to move into our lightning round, and then we're going to finish out with the one last question. So, either best book that you've read recently in the last few months that you would recommend to our listeners.
The Big Shift. I bought that. Big Shift book should be nearby. I would say great book because things are changing. We need to change with the time, and then of course I definitely recommend my friend's book. I don't get paid any money. Hal Elrod, Miracle Morning. That will revolutionize your audience. Miracle Morning. Please grab that one and pitch anything. See, we are all pitching. We are all really trying to make a buck, but that's not right. We need to be literally pitching it correctly and making sure that we are win-win situation. And we are giving the most so that most will come back. I think we should, and then again, pick up this book.
American, for the listeners who are not looking at the video, that was Vinney's book, and I recommend that. That is the Apartment Syndication Made Easy, Amazon or VinneyChopra.com. Favorite athlete, Vinney? Who's your favorite? Who you?
Oh my gosh! To be truthful, I know Jerry Rice. Always impressed me. Very much impressed me about his work ethics, getting out to the field, practicing way before, and that's how I believe I like to practice my skills and get up early and everything. So Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice, and that's to my heart too. I grew up in the Bay Area watching Joe Montana, Jerry Rice. And for those who don't know, Sunday was a tough day for Niners fans. It was our chance to win the Super Bowl. And we, unfortunately, 3.5 quarters of blood, sweat, and tears went away in about a half a quarter to a really amazing team, and credit to the Chiefs. But I'm with you there. Jerry Rice, Joe Montana, those are two heroes growing up and some of my favorite athletes too.
Amazing. Joe Montana, I would put him up there, definitely.
Excellent. Favorite podcast that you're listening to now as well?
Oh my gosh, wow. There are several, I really believe that I need to be listening to cutting edge, where the economy is going and things like that. So I have some of those motivational ones. I am a pretty motivated guy anyway, but then I also like to see what's happening in multifamily and now in the senior living and all those arenas. I used to listen to a lot, but I get so busy now with so many companies and so many initiatives that I'm having. I also started 2 startup companies also in the meanwhile, right here in the Bay Area. One is called Oxygen. I would love to mention that on your platform. It's oxygen.vip, very important person. And it's a startup we have been working on for a year and a half. It's working right now, where we are trying to become the open door of single family homes. If you recall, open door, people can call into open door and say, I want to sell my single family home. Would you buy it within 15 days? So we are bringing the same technology and data and everything with capital from the warehousing banking, where people can call apartment complex owners can reach out to us and we'll buy their apartment if it's the right and everything in the market we are looking for. 15-day close. And then we'll provide the whole platter on a silver plate to the syndicator, people like me and younger than me and all my students. They can buy that from us. So we are not brokers, but we are facilitating frictionless selling of the multifamily and bought multifamily.
Excellent. Love that. Wow. That sounds really fascinating. I'll have to check that out. So last question we have here, and this is, I think, the one that I was most excited to ask you, Vinney. How do you stay centered in your values? And second, stay encouraged to charge forward to reach your goals?
Thank you. I would say, it's who you are. You have the foundation, and, integrity is number one. Honesty is number one, in my books. And making sure that I give value to everybody. If somebody pays me 10 cents, I want to give them $1 back, in value. That's what I always have thought. Even clients or investors, I give my very best, and our family does the best for them, because it's not one investor. I always look at, there are 20 investors behind that one person. But how to get that 20 is how we treat the first person in front of us, And that has been my secret of success, that people, through sending referrals, have been just mushrooming. And now with my podcast, 2 podcasts and books, the second book, so many people are reaching out to who I am. So it's becoming now, I've got investors who want to put 10 million. I just talked to a very fine gentleman from Beverly Hills, and he's got investors gazoo. And he says, Vinney, oh my gosh, your syndication model is the best. I've been doing notes, I've been doing this and that and development in single family home. People are putting $2 million in a single family home. He says it's so much risky, but doing syndication, it's so simple and it's less risk for my clients. So all these avenues are big. I came across a gentleman in Irvine area they make $11 million. I won't say the name. They're paying 57% to the government, the federal and California tax. 57%, 5.7 million every year. So I'm coming across those people. I've got my good friend who wants to put 15 million into a deal by paying off one of my mortgages so that he's the bank. He would love to make 6 to 7, 8% and have a secure, operator who will not drive it to the ground. So a lot of people are out there, right? The more you open yourself up and you're doing your best, I think more people get attracted to you.
Well, Vinney, I want to thank you for being on the show and sharing all your wisdom. Again, you can find Vinney at vinneychopra.com. Check out his book, Apartment Syndication Made Easy. Also, Positivity Brings Profitabilities, as well as all of his educational platforms as well. Vinney, it's been a real pleasure, and I wish you a great day and a great quarter, and we look forward to staying connected with you in the future.
Same to you, Brett, and thank you for bringing such a great podcast to your listeners, to your audience, and God bless you. And I hope you have the best year, 2020, but plan 2030. That's what I'm telling my all teams. We need to be visioning right now, not just this year. We need to really spectacular growth has to come in this decade. So let's really change with the time. Let's make sure we are focused. Let's make sure we have the vision, and let's achieve it.
Excellent. Thanks, Vinney. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Till the next show. Make it a great day.
Thank you, Brad.
What a show. Wow. Just a few thoughts here as our guest departs. So much wisdom from Vinney and so much inspiration. And he really exudes positivity. If you haven't a chance to see this video, go to YouTube and search our podcast, and you'll be able to see Vinney. He really is Mr. Smiles and Mr. Inspiration. Very encouraging. And, it's the American dream. You can start from nothing and really just inspiration and humility and being willing to work hard and have a vision and then reach for your goals. It's an amazing story. And then also not just stopping with what you have. One of our things at Capital Gains Tax Solutions is not just a way to defer tax and to make wealth, which is very important. It's just to say, what are you going to do with once you've achieved some level of success? You've had all these gains given to you. Are they going to be, washed away or not used? Or are you going to be able to reinvest those through yourself, through educational platforms, through giving back to others, to taking your portfolio from Vinney, for example, from 200 to hopefully 500 or $600 million, and to make more of an impact for more people, as well as providing the service to people who need housing and need care. So this has really been an encouraging interview for me, and hopefully for you as well. Some of the other takeaways too, just the technical part. So the deferred sales trust is a nice fit for some of those limitations that either the syndications don't provide or any of the cost segregation doesn't provide, especially if any capital gains tax deferral, we can fit that space. So keep that in mind if you're selling in and out of any syndications or deals, $500,000 or greater, $100,000 in liability or more. And then also look at the senior housing space. I think it's a space where there's huge opportunity and great returns for investors. I think that's great as well. And then pay for coaching. If you need more coaching, reach out to those who are specialists in the area. And with that, that's all I have for the show notes or the show recap here. Hope you have a great day and look forward to staying connected with you. Reach out to us at capitalgainstaxsolutions.com.
You have just listened to another information-packed episode of Capital Gains Tax Solutions with Brett Swarts. We hope you enjoyed today's show and found it helpful. Visit capitalgainstaxsolutions.com to access the show notes and to access more resources. Don't forget to leave a review and join us again next time.